thank you to Oppo for sponsoring this video. So you made the decision to buy a new phone. Good for you. You deserve it. You work hard. And one of the brands I think a lot of people are starting to consider more and more is Oppo. They've been around for a while, sold millions of phones, and their latest, the Oppo Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G, taking a phone that was already really great, and they're upgrading some of the features other manufacturers tend to forget about. And they're also adding features that some flagship phones won't get until next year. So it leads to a phone that packs almost every feature you want, but also executes it really well. Before I tell you about all the things it can do, let me thank you for being awesome, good humans, supporting the channel all these years. Give you a chance to win $500 because I want to say thank you. So leave a comment down below. Let me know what you do with a new Oppo phone. Tell me a dad joke. Tell me a random fact about yourself. Tell me anything. Just leave your social handle in the comments so I can contact you if you win. Give the video a thumbs up. Let it run for 10 days, open to anyone in the world. All the information you need will be in the description. So like with most phones these days, I think the camera is where a lot of the work went in to make this phone special. And Oppo went straight for the telephoto camera here. So for a lot of phones, the camera is there, but the quality is not nearly as good as what you get with the main sensor. But Oppo is changing that completely with the Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G. So this is a 64 megapixel periscope telephoto camera with 3 times optical zoom and 120 times digital zoom. And again, periscope camera. These are features that a lot of phones don't have yet, or phones that might get sometime later on this year. It's the next technology when it comes to sort of that telephoto lens. If that was all they did, that would be impressive. But they did all of that and paired it with a 1/2-inch sensor, meaning it'll do much better in low light, which has always been sort of a big kind of Achilles heel for telephoto cameras. And then all of that, they matched with an f2.5 aperture, and you are getting one of the best low light telephoto sensors out there. This also lets you get much more natural portrait photos as well. You've got a larger sensor and more light. Photos just generally look less processed and more natural. We'll talk a ton about photos in a minute. And Oppo also has gone to lengths to make sure the simulated bokeh in the background is natural and not weirdly distracting. The rest of the cameras are really good too. You can't blow one thing out of the water and then have like not good rest of them. And they did not do that here. So the main sensor is a 50 megapixel sensor. There's 8 megapixel ultra wide and a 32 megapixel selfie camera up front. So no matter where you're taking a photo, you're going to get a really good picture. And that's sort of the theme here. I think we're heading towards a path where smartphones can not say obsolete, but they're gonna make large digital cameras less necessary. People are taking out a digital camera. Generally it's because they want to get that better shot. They want it to look like the thing you're taking a picture of. With a digital camera, DSLR, you're not getting an over-processed image. You're generally, at least tend to get a more real-life image with a lot of data, and then you can take it back and tweak and make it look however you want. A lot of smartphones have gone the opposite route. They're giving you a very over-processed image, kind of make up for that lack of data that looks brighter than things look in real life. Some people enjoy that. But what Oppo's doing here is kind of merging all of that. You're going to be able to get a good photo no matter what you do, no matter where you take a picture of, no matter any scenarios that you've got, and you're getting a picture that looks really true to life, but also giving you data sort of in there because the sensors are so big to sort of manipulate if you want to after the fact. So even though the cameras, I think, are probably one of the biggest selling features, there's still everything else you'd want in a phone. So I think Oppo did a really nice job with design. It's clean and minimal, it's comfortable to hold in the hand, but it really makes the screen the star of the show, and with good reason. I am a screen snob, I've said it publicly. If a phone's got a bad screen, I don't care about anything else. This is a really good display. It's a 6.7-inch OLED display with a 2772 by 1240 resolution, which is pretty high. Comes in actually 450 PPI, which again, very high for a phone. But also has another feature that they're calling Pro XDR. Kind of chuckled at that name. But basically, when viewing photos taken by the Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G using the Gallery app, the phone can use the display's high brightness to give you an HDR view of the photos. It's actually 8 times brighter than normal, so you get a better idea of what the photo looked like when you took it. The screen is great, but also, so are the internals. It's kind of the theme here. Everything, yeah, is good. And the best parts is the battery. You've got a 4700 milliamp hour battery inside. More importantly, it supports a 100-watt Super VOOC charging and has a 100-watt charger in the box. So this means, this is nuts, you can charge around 50% in 10 minutes and 100%, so a totally dead battery in less than 30 minutes. I don't know how that works, but doesn't really even get that warm. Absolutely incredible what Oppo has done here. And a feature, it's got something that I haven't seen in a long time. It's got an IR blaster built in. If you're an IR blaster person, your options for phones are getting smaller and smaller and smaller. It used to be all the rage back in the day, but also can be really helpful now. I'm not sure why manufacturers seem to have sort of abandoned this, but I'm glad it's here with the Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G. So all these features, I think, sound great, but I think the results really matter, especially when compared to other phones that are on the market. When you take a step back, I tried to see what the closest comparison to this phone would be. I think it's probably the very capable Samsung S23 Plus. So feature for feature, both Oppo and Samsung are bringing something to the table, but Oppo at least thinks that they have a leg up. The easiest way to sort of test this, go back to the camera, and do a blind camera test. So here's some photos from both cameras. Let us know which one you think kind of comes out on top, and look for colors, look for saturation, look for highlights, look for lowlights. On these portrait shots, look at the bokeh, see if one looks more natural or not. Leave your comment down below which one you prefer, and I will tell you, A is the S23 Plus, and B was the Oppo. There's no doubt that both phones have really good cameras. And you look at sort of the main sensor, the ultra wide, I think the photos look really similar. What you have to see a huge difference is when it comes to telephoto. I think it's very clear to tell one is very overprocessed, brighter, more poppy colors. One looks more true to life. Look at the picture right here, the flowers. You can see one looks hot pink, one looks kind of lightish pink. The lightish pink is what those flowers actually looked like in real life, kind of with your own eyes. And the hot pink is kind of what is a less realistic version of those flowers. Now, I don't know which one you prefer, but I like to sort of see things that look the way they looked to me when I took the photo. But you have the option to tweak settings in the background and sort of drive up that saturation if you prefer that look. But personally, being able to have something that looks true to life, I think is the way to go. Also, when it comes to just pure specs what telephoto can do, Samsung only offers a 10 megapixel telephoto with a 3x optical and 30x digital, which is obviously no slouch. That's still a really good system, but it is nowhere close to what Oppo is offering. In fact, Oppo is offering a 388% larger sensor than Samsung, and you can see that in these low light photo results. The Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G, again, has a more natural look. It doesn't detract from the shadows or highlights. It feels less like a super processed HDR photo and more like what the scene looked like when you actually took the picture. And that goes for bokeh simulation too. So the Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G is really striving to keep things looking real and natural. And I think that they pulled that off. And again, here's some samples you can see for yourself. And this comparison continues also for like the rest of the phone. The size and the weight is pretty similar on both. You can just choose which one you like, the curved design of the Reno or the box design of the S23 Plus. Total personal preference, both are good. Samsung has been king of display tech, and I've said that in many videos. While the S23 Plus has an incredible screen, the 6.6-inch 2340 by 1080 display is significantly worse resolution than the Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G. So if screen quality and resolution is what you're looking for, the Oppo is offering more here. One place where there's a huge difference is with charging. So both phones have surprisingly the same size battery, 4700 milliamp hours, but 100-watt charging with the Reno is faster than the 45-watt charging that Samsung offers. And the fact that Oppo gives you the charger in the box is hard to look past. Now presumably you're not gonna fast charge every single day. Those times when you need it, I think is also really nice. Boils down to these are both really good phones that offer sort of different experiences. And what Oppo has done here with the Reno 10 Pro Plus 5G is give a phone that is really good in every aspect. No matter what you want this phone to do, it is going to do it well. It excels in camera. It's got a great screen. It's got amazing specs. It's got software that is incredibly solid. No matter what you're looking to do with your phone, Oppo hit this one out of the park. And again, a big shout out and thank you to Oppo for sponsoring this video. If you want to learn more about Oppo or the Reno line in general and more about this phone, put a link to it down below.